Welcome, everybody, to the Sports Blitz. It's episode number 51. Unbelievable. I can't believe we're at 51 already.
Yeah.
I'm Doug. We have Robbie here. Robbie, how you doing?
Doing great. Just, enjoying another night of, I had the Red Sox on earlier, which they're actually winning, but give it time. No, I'm doing well. A lot of exciting stuff to talk about for sure. This week, just a lot to dive into. By the way, hope you guys enjoyed episode 50 that we did last week. So we're taking you on a behind the scenes sort of retrospective of the Sports Blitz. It was really awesome to do that and put that together. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun.
That was a fun
to
show.
Be a part of. Yeah, absolutely.
That was a fun show.
No, how are you doing, Doug?
Doing well. Doing well. Hey, listen, if you've come out of the cave or crawled up out of the rock, welcome. Thanks for watching. You might want to just go back in for a little while.
A little bit longer.
Yeah, a little bit longer, but who knows? We don't have any idea. But we're still cooking along, and we're still gonna be making episodes and that kind of thing, which is very cool. But just want to give you a little format of how we do stuff. If this is your first episode that you're ever watching, that's right. Cooking along, baby. Who are we cooking? Nobody.
No, I said, what are we cooking?
What are we cooking? I don't know.
Not who. We're not cooking, Doug. We're not cooking people here.
No, we're not. We don't do that. It's a family show. So what
not
I
a family show.
It was a family show, except a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Wanted to just give you a little format. We like to have fun. We we've been using this word discourse all evening long, the last 20 minutes or so. We like to throw things out there. If you hear us say words or phrases, we have a chat that goes on, and we just say stuff on the chat. And Robbie just wrote discourse on the chat. Excellent. So if you hear words and everything, funny words, crazy words, or you just hear something out of the blue, it's probably on the chat, and we'll probably tell you that it's on the chat. We go through pretty much all the sports teams. We try to get through all of them. And then, of course, we actually have a game tonight, which is great.
Yeah.
And after that, we're going to do what we do every week that we do this, every episode. We're going to have our final thoughts. So we're going to jump right in, Robbie, because we have a lot to talk about tonight, tomorrow. I don't know. We have a lot to talk about. Someday.
Yeah.
We are going to start talking about, from a hat, talking about the Boston Bruins.
I'm
just going to throw it out to you, Robbie.
By the way, I got this shirt on. It's sort of like a Boston, hold on,
Boston strong? Is it strong? Is it Boston?
No,
it's got all Boston,
all the champions. So I got the Bruins right here, sort of down the bottom here,
2011. Yeah, 2011. There it is.
Stanley
nice
Cup,
shirt.
So.
Nice shirt.
Yeah.
I'm actually got the pink.
So you got all four. Yeah, you got all four as always with the Red Sox and Celtics there in the.
I do. Red Sox are in the background.
Corner there, yeah.
The Celtics are in the background too. That was
you folks watching the video stream can see that you listen to the audio. Doug has a Red Sox blanket and a. Is that a Celtics? I forget. Is that a Celtics?
It's a Celtics blanket too.
It's
a blanket.
Okay.
Two blankets there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Very comfortable, but not now because it's warm out. So listen, we're going to get right into the Bruins right now. We're going to talk Bruins for a few minutes. So wanted to ask you, Robbie, right up front, what the heck just happened? They started out in the round robin playing like, well, I should say doo-doo.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it was like a switch.
Yeah.
They said they were going to switch.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I think it's what you just said. I think they flipped a switch. Now the playoff time comes around.
Where is that switch anyway?
I think it's in the back of the locker room somewhere. Maybe maybe Pasternak's locker. I don't know, somewhere.
Pasta's
Uh,
locker? Is that where the switch is?
I don't know. I don't have any idea. But you're
Pasta,
right.
Pasta barely played. Pasta barely
Barely
played
played
the
the
whole thing.
series, but he flipped the switch for everybody else. So there you go. No, I think it was really, really impressive. And what really impressed me the most was the way they kind of grinded out some of those wins. I think it was what, 2 of the 4 wins came in overtime, and the other 2 were just by a couple goals each. I mean, they really just flipped the switch exactly. They really looked so impressive, and just they had to overcome some adversity in that series. One sort of piece of adversity in particular, which we'll get into a little bit, I'm sure. But guys really stepped up, and sort of quote Bill Belichick of the Patriots here, another Boston team, the Patriots. They did their job. The guys filled their roles. They had sort of the next man up mentality in a lot of situations, and I just was really impressed. And honestly, it made me really sort of come around to, if this team keeps playing like this, they got a chance at running the table here. I mean, I just I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but this team, if they play up to their potential, they have a chance to get to anybody. Tampa, Philly. I know the Capitals are right on the brink of being knocked out themselves here in the first round. But anybody they go up against, I feel like they have the ability to play with and win, especially in a 7-game series. And so this series, it reinvigorated me after. You're right. It was a tough round robin. They just were not playing like themselves and paid the price. But they have really, they really flipped the switch, stepped up, and just looks so impressive. And it made me very excited for what's to come. Speaking of the Capitals, are down 1-0, and like it's an elimination game for them. But I'm just very excited to see where this team can go. I mean, they're a team on a mission. They really have been, all season up until the shutdown, and even after, a team on a mission after what happened last year in the Cup Finals. So I just really like their chances going forward here. I'm very excited after watching that series. It was a great 5-game series for them, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I think there was definitely a few things that kind of stood out for me a little bit. One was the penalty kill. Penalty kill. They just unbelievable with the penalty kill. They just did a great job. You're always worried when you're talking Bruins about the power play, because power play is always something that they didn't have one in 2011 when they won. When they won the cup, so they didn't have one. It was non-existent. It was horrendous, but they actually won without it, so it wasn't really a big deal. But again, both of those, the penalty kill and the power plays, were really good. I think one of the things that they did was they changed up Krejci on the power play. They put Krejci on that power play line. And I think, with Krejci's defense and with the guys that are there, I think it worked out amazing. They really did a great job together on that. So that's kind of what made the power play really good. And of course, Pasta, he's been out. He's been out because he was celebrating, got hurt, and he was kind of iffy, and been kind of iffy, but he kind of felt good yesterday. And let me tell you, yesterday, he did his job. He had good shots, and he made some good plays. He didn't score, but he made some good plays, and he was out there and doing fairly well. The issue, the issue I had, and it may be of a big concern going forward, no matter who we play. Because as you get deeper and deeper, Robbie, you had your chance, man. deeper and deeper into the playoffs. You
Apparently just zoomed right over my head there.
I thought that
Yeah.
was going to be right on the chat there. As you get deeper and deeper into the playoffs, where is it?
There you go.
There it is. Deeper
There
and
we
deeper.
are.
That's what I was looking for. As you get deeper and deeper into playoffs,
Sad commentary on my
you,
on just
no,
my
you were listening. You were actually listening to what I'm saying.
a sad commentary on my perception. The fact that you had to coach me through that.
You were either not listening and daydreaming.
No, I was
a chocolate sundae.
I know. No, I was totally
really
engaged.
listening to what I was saying.
Totally engaged. I was right there with you.
That didn't look like daydreaming, man. That looked like engagement.
No, I really was.
So the thing that concerns me is really the third line play. That's really a concern. Yeah. And the fact is that the third line really needs to step it up. They really, really need to step it up because they're going to need that third line to be able to really need a deeper and deeper. Doubling up everything now. I don't know why. They're going to need the third line because the third line is going to be super important when it comes to, the next level. So whether they play, it doesn't matter who they play. I think we can play Tampa, but that's just my opinion. But I just think, those are certainly the things that I think of. As Halak, and we'll talk a little about the other thing that I know it's not even on this list, but I just thought about. Because we've been talking about it for days.
That's why I kind of mentioned it earlier with the adversity.
I know you did. I know.
Comment.
The good thing about Halak is that as he keeps playing, he will get better and better. So that's just my opinion.
By the way, by the way, I gotta give him a lot. I know there were a couple of shots like in some games that he probably should have stopped, but he manned up. He did his job, and he showed some real stones coming, sort of being thrown in there unexpectedly, and he did his job. So I gotta give him a lot.
He's not a young guy. He's not a young guy. He's a veteran.
But I gotta give him a lot of credit for
played exceptionally well with the Habs last year. So I mean, when he went in, he played very, very well.
But I just sort of not. He's the veteran.
No, absolutely no. I totally get it.
You gotta. He did not fully expect to sort of see that level of play and sort of be thrown in there sort of unexpectedly. He did what he had to do, and so I give him a lot of credit for that.
Absolutely, and of course the power play is going to be a huge thing for the next grouping for the next round. So those are the things that I think are the most important things. But we can segue from Halak to Rask. So we'll talk about Tuukka Rask for a minute or two, maybe longer. Tuukka decided to leave the bubble.
Yeah.
He had what everybody's calling a family emergency. People that are connected with him and have spoken to him say it was a family emergency with his daughter.
Yeah,
he decided to leave the bubble, and so Robbie, what are your thoughts about that?
I have mixed feelings because on one hand, I mean, family comes first. Period. No matter what walk of life you're in, family comes first, and to hear sort of more and more come out about it, I kind of get more onto the side of what if it being a family emergency with his daughter. I mean, he did what he had to do. The thing that I'm intrigued by, or the thing that kind of I was interested by, sort of given the news of Saturday when he opted out, was the comments he made after game 2, which was basically, he was commenting about how the atmosphere, and about how basically the playoff games felt like exhibition games, and people were really questioning sort of before that whole, again, before he opted out and everything on Saturday morning. I think people were kind of questioning where his head and heart was at given those comments. I think that's the one thing for me is that, I just wonder how much of his heart was really in it to begin with. And, if sort of his comments and just sort of what they seem to indicate about where his mental state and his heart was are correct, or if our sort of inklings about those are correct, it does leave you to wonder, for this particular, for these Stanley Cup playoffs, did we really want somebody who was sort of that mindset and sort of not all there, so to speak, playing goalie for us long term? Again, I think that's a separate side note from the reason why he opted out, because that I totally get. It's a family thing. Family comes first. It's totally understandable. So especially as more has come out, I've sort of more come down on the side of I get exactly why he did what he did. But definitely those before that even happened, there was some question in my mind about where he was at mentally, especially given those comments after game 2.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's the comments are suspect. I think that's what I think that's kind of what I'm thinking of, is that the comments are of, not just missing his family, but not quite into it. I just want to have fun and I don't really care, blah, blah. It's kind of like this, I don't really give a crap about what goes on. I just want to have fun here. And from what I've heard from, people who are there, Jack Edwards was on one of the sports stations this morning, and there's a couple other people. Dale Arnold is on, and what they are hearing from the bubble is that it's really super tough. They don't have access to their families. They have access to virtually nothing. And I mean, they have a place where they can, play stuff. They have PlayStation, they have Xbox, they have all kinds of things that they can do. That's not the issue. The issue is that it's different. It's different without fans. It's different even if you plug these electronic fans in. It's like they do at the basketball games now, which I think is pretty funny. It's just not the same. So I totally get it. The issue I have is people complaining about the fact that, yes, he did have an emergency. And by the way, it's nobody's freaking business what the emergency is. Now, his comments are suspect up until the time that he says that. But we don't know what it is, and we shouldn't know what it is because it's his privacy. It's his family. He shouldn't have to say anything except for it was a family emergency. Now, maybe something will come out later, but it's nobody's damn business what the heck it was. It isn't. But on the flip side of it, everybody's kind of angry because they heard the comments a couple days before, 2 days in a row, he commented. And so everybody's really pissed off at the fact that he's like, oh, well, it was it really a family emergency or was he just not into it? But let me tell you, Robbie, if he's not into it, I'm glad he's not here.
Yeah.
I don't want him.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be on the team if he's not 100% into it and invested. If he's not, he's not gonna be there mentally for what they have to do in the playoffs. And let me tell you, the playoffs are a totally different story. No matter what sport you're talking about, totally different. Yeah. So I'd rather he be gone. And there's some talk today about him possibly coming back.
Oh boy, yeah, I've heard.
Don't know what that means. So Andrew Raycroft said this morning that he doesn't believe that Rask will come back, especially after the series that just happened with Halak.
I don't think he will either.
Doesn't see him coming back.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. And honestly, like you said, like I kind of alluded to earlier, I don't know if I really want him back. First of all, Halak played really well. And second of all, what is he going to come back and all of a sudden be a completely different Tuukka Rask, mindset wise? I don't know if I could trust it.
Don't have any idea.
Yeah,
don't have any idea. But he has to be 100%. He has to be 100% mentally into it.
Yeah.
To be able to come back. Because
he wasn't.
I think that was part of it. I think that was the start of it. And I think just this family emergency that he had with his daughter was just the tip of the iceberg. Now, I think the management knew what was going on. I think that, and again, Don Sweeney didn't even say anything. If he said it was a family emergency, like up front, which he didn't do, I think if he said that it was a family emergency, people would be like, "Oh, it's a family emergency. I get it. I've had family emergencies with my kids. I totally get this. I mean, you have to be family comes first. Period. That's the end of story.
Yeah.
We don't have to know what the heck it was because it's not any of our business. The fact is that he does. We are invested in the Bruins, obviously, in watching and doing whatever. So if we're invested, we don't need to know. We just need to know who's going to be there and who's going to take over and what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
I think people are feeling a lot better seeing what Halak did in the last 3 games. And they're looking at it going, oh, wait a minute. We may have a chance here. Rask who? Suka what? So, again, and I'm not saying that Rask – I still think Rask is better than Halak. I think that goalie-wise, I think he's better.
Yeah, I agree with
that.
But
the fact is that this second-string goalie, this backup, is the best backup in the league.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't such a bad transition. And again, the more Halak plays, the better he will be. So that's my commentary on it, Robbie. I really think that it's none of our business, and if he's not invested 100%, he shouldn't be on the team.
I agree. I mean, I think you put it perfectly. Is that you're right? If he was not 100%, I don't want him between the pipes in a playoff game. If his heart and head's not 100% in it, I agree, and I do. I completely agree that family comes first, and believe me, I hope everything is okay with his family and whatever the situation may be. Believe me.
Well, that's the other thing. They said the emergency was over. Like 24 hours, 12 hours after, they said the emergency was over, everything was fine.
Yeah. So it's
but that's fine. But he still. It doesn't mean he still doesn't need to be with his family because he probably does.
Absolutely.
And supposedly it was something. The emergency happened, and his daughter got on the phone. One of his daughters got on the phone, and whatever. And this is what Dale Arnold said because he had a conversation with him, but he told him not to tell anybody. He told Dale what it was. But he told Dale not to tell everybody that there may be a statement that may come out later. But he said that one of his daughters had said something, and that made him say, I got to go. We don't know what that is. It may or may not come out ever, but it doesn't matter. It's his family. Yeah. It's private. Leave it alone. That's it.
Yeah.
We got Halak, and that's the way it is.
And we knew Halak was a great goalie to begin with. And so I think that's why, people, there was some question about Halak by some people. But I know for me personally, I felt very comfortable with Halak stepping in, given how he did during the regular season. And so I think he's more than capable of carrying this team on a deep playoff run, as we saw with this series. He looked very impressive in those last 3 games. And so, I think you're right. I mean, like I said, I think you hit the nail right on the head in terms of, Rouse, his priorities and stuff like that. And so, I think, hit the nail right on there. Why with a question mark?
I don't know. I just thought I'd question it. I don't know. It's a nice saying.
Anyway,
I just thought I'd throw it in there.
Sure, go right ahead. Go right
Thank
ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me write something on the chat. Thank you so much. My next question is about the next round, but we don't know who's playing the next round yet. So
no.
it's one of those things where I think we're going to save that
How's
question
it?
for
Do
next time.
we know how that works? Because like, if Philly wins their series, like, do we play them because we're the one? They're the one, and we're the four. Like, how is it? How's this? How's it work? Do we know?
I'm going to have to plead.
Or if the Islanders
innocent on
win,
that. I have no idea.
or if the Islanders wins, it's kind of like football. Like, they're the lowest seeds, so they play.
I haven't really been following that. I just follow when the Bruins are on. I watch them. So I don't have any idea, actually, and I really shouldn't, say that I don't know. But you want to know? Okay, look it up. Look up what it is. But I don't know. The rules are so crazy that I haven't been really following the rules because they've been kind of like crazy.
Yeah.
I just
whoever it is, I think we got a chance against. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
Whoever it is.
If we
Bring
do the things
on.
that I talked about, we talked about, then the power play, the power kill, and the power kill and the power play. Try again. Penalty kill.
Yeah.
And we try to solve the third line. We keep Halak in a positive way where we should be good. We should be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we should talk about it. Obviously we'll talk about it, next week when we probably will know who they play, and then we can kind of, dissect it a little bit, but, dissect it in a way where, they're probably not going to be losers. They're probably going to be winners. But speaking of losers, we're going to go right to the Red Sox, which it's just, sorry, I had a little segue there, which is something you're probably very happy.
You're right.
Wait, is he going off? I want to see you going off.
I'm trying to. At
you trying to
least
stay
for
calm?
the start, I'm trying to. They're winning 3-0 tonight. They won yesterday. Trying to. Yeah. Stay calm. I know. Yeah. Stay calm. Seriously. You go. You continue. You continue. I'm just gonna sit here.
You're just gonna chill. Okay. Gonna chill.
In my momentary calmness.
So last night was Ron Renicke's birthday, and he got a great birthday present. He got a 6-3 win. He got a 6-3 win from the Red Sox. And again, like we said last week, or actually the week before that, I don't know. Sometime a long time ago when they first started, and they are wins is the fact that. Can they sustain? Can they get 2 in a row here? I mean, can they get 3 in a row? Can they start winning? I don't even know. They had Chaim Bloom on this morning, and he was just glad to get a win. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah, he was just glad to get a win. So Robbie, I'm putting it to you. What do you think? This is not going to be good, folks.
To answer your question, I'm going to just use 2 very simple letters. N-O. I'm sorry. I want to be happy this episode. The Bruins are doing great. The Celtics are doing great. The Patriots are starting up. Apparently, the Celtics have the number 14 pick of the NBA draft lottery. So that kind of random non-sequitur there. No, they don't have pitching. Their offense can't stay consistent, and they don't have any pitching. They don't. Again, It bears repeating. They do not have, I'll spell it out as slow as possible, they do not have any pitching. They have Nathan Uvalde and the Brookline Ave gang, as I keep calling it.
That's right. Guys off the street.
You know, yes, can they win tonight because of Uvalde's pitching? Yeah, they won yesterday. Wait, what do you do? They still lost 9 in a row before that. They still lost 9 in a row before that. I'm sorry. I love the Red Sox. I love the Red Sox since I was 8 years old, even probably before that. They are just I guess I've resigned myself to the fact that this is going to be the worst Red Sox season. I'm saying this right now. I don't care. This is going to be the worst Red Sox season of my lifetime. I've resigned myself to that fact. And even the fact that it's a 60-game season, the shortest Red Sox season of my lifetime.
It's definitely the shortest.
Definitely the shortest season of my lifetime. It is just like I said, I love the Red Sox. I continue to watch them, which I have no idea why I continue to watch them. But no, it's not going to happen. If it does, believe me, I'll be the first person to shout from the rooftops and eat crow or whatever you want to call it, But it just, and believe me, I try to be the biggest optimist when it comes to sports and Boston sports there is. There is no sliver of my mind that can be optimistic about this Red Sox team. There's just none. It's really bad. 1-800-SOX suck. Yeah, I mean, it's just
help Robbie get over the Sox. Call 1-800-SOX suck. And
it's just so brutal. I don't even want to talk. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, that's just how I think. Just like mentally, I just checked out on the 2020 Boston Red Sox. Like,
okay, so let's take our feeling about this, and let's kind of move it to 2021 now. So there's been a lot of trade rumors, and there's been a lot of rumors out there about certain players. What do you think about those rumors, and how would you set up next year? And trying to, obviously with pitching, I get it, but what I'm saying is how would you set up next year? It looks like we're going to actually, if we play very badly, it looks like we're going to be getting a nice pick from the, I don't know. Anyway, how would you set up next year?
I don't know
There's
either.
Been some rumors about trades, about a Devers trade, which, by the way, Chaim Bloom said this morning, that's every which way but not. That's not happening. He said, we love Devers. Devers is going to be part of our future. Do I believe him? Fake news. Yes, I think it's fake news. Could be 1-800-SOX suck. I don't know. Don't have any idea. Robbie, what are your thoughts?
It's tough because I think that in order to win,
JD too, by the way. I'm sorry, JD was part of that.
Yeah. In order to win in 2021, they're gonna have to get better pitching. Period. I mean, period. End of story. That's like the holy grail for them is to get better pitching. Because who knows, when Rodriguez is going to be back next year. What he's going to be like. Chris Sale, who knows how he's going to be coming back from Tommy John surgery. The problem I have, Indiana Robbie, yes. Exactly. In the Temple of Suck.
Temple of Socks.
Temple of Socks suck.
Temple of Socks.
Yeah. Here's the problem that I have.
Robbie really needs to open up. He's just holding things back.
I understand that. Yeah, I understand that you have to give to get, in when it comes to trading and stuff like that. But at the same time, I also don't want to give up, the pieces of the team that are remotely good. Give to get, exactly. Like these offensive pieces that are actually remotely, good to watch. I mean, JD, Devers, Xander
Do you think
Bogaerts.
Devers? Do you think Devers has played very well this year so far?
No, I don't think. I mean, I don't. I think he's played below average. I think he's come around a little bit, maybe the last couple of games, but yeah,
How
overall,
does he
no.
sound after games?
How does he sound after games? I mean, I don't really. Yeah, I hate to say it, I don't really listen. I don't. I don't really.
It doesn't sound good. I mean, it's hard to lose. It's hard to lose when you've been part of a couple of championships, right? So it's hard to lose, and when you're losing, you kind of get depressed and upset and stuff like that. But the fact is that he's not a rookie anymore. So it's like you got to kind of turn it around. And
He's been on the struggle bus. There's no question. He's been on
the what?
The struggle bus.
Did you just say the struggle bus?
Yeah, the struggle bus.
Okay.
I can't take credit for that. I gotta throw credit to Barstool Sports' Jared Carabas for that one. He kind of coined the term struggle bus, or at least for the Red Sox. So him and Benintendi. I know Benintendi's hurt. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about giving someone like that up, and I don't know how I feel about giving up these good offensive pieces up. That being said, we need pitching, especially starting pitching. Yeah, struggle bus. You heard me. They heard me the first 5 times, and I'll say it again. He is riding the struggle bus. In fact, the entire team is driving the struggle bus at this point. So I don't know. They need pitching. Period. End of story. How are they going to get that? Again, to sort of go back to another one of my sort of cliche sayings, you have to give to get. But I don't know. It's all tough. It's all tough, and I don't know.
Well, there's some rumors out there. What about trading Devers? What about trading JD Martinez? Would you trade either one of them?
I would be more inclined
for pitching.
This is just my opinion. I would be more inclined to trade Devers than I would be to trade Martinez.
Okay. Would you trade Bradley Jr.?
Yes. Yeah. I would.
If somebody was looking for an outfield.
For a quality pitching, especially for quality starting pitching, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
I hate to say it, but there's nobody on this team right now except maybe Bogaerts. Bogaerts is the only one that comes close, but there's nobody else on this team that would not be on the market for me in terms of trades. That I would not be open at least to exploring a trade for. Some guys I would definitely explore more than others, but if you could get a quality starter for a Bradley, or even as much as I hate to say it, for like a Benintendi or for a Devers. Maybe
before he got hurt, Benintendi wasn't playing well either.
I know. Nobody. I mean, except for Alex Verdugo, which go figure. Like not a whole lot of people on the team have been playing well.
The dirt dog, so man. He's a dirt dog.
Yeah. Still lost that trade, but anyway.
You know what part we lost though? Is that pitcher that's pitching 100 miles an hour
I know.
For LA. That's what we lost.
I know.
That was a bad decision to just give him up because they didn't like his physical.
They gave up to the peer pressure or whatever.
Whatever it was, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Just see what he can do.
I don't know. I'm curious to hear your take on this, because I honestly, it's very tough right now because they're just doing so badly that it's so. I don't know sort of which way to think on this one, because like I said, I've kind of have mentally as much as I hate to say it, I kind of mentally have sort of turned off the Red Sox in a lot of ways, and sort of now focusing more on the Bruins and Celtics, even the Patriots, so to speak, which we'll get into. But I am curious to hear your take on this.
I think my take is pretty much the same as yours, Robbie. Is that I think that I think they're all in a struggle bus. I like that word. I like that phrase. They're all there. Some are in the front of the bus, some are in the back. I think Verdugo is probably in the back of the bus. There's some there in the front. I can't believe where's it going around and round on the bus? Oh boy, we really hit a low there. And it makes sense because we're talking about the Red Sox, so it's pretty low.
I know, yeah.
So I think I don't think anybody's safe. Let's put it that way. I don't. I don't know how low can we go. How low can we go? Go pretty low. I mean, we're talking about the Red Sox. They're pretty low.
We're already pretty low to begin with.
I mean, I thought 1-800-SOX-SUCK was pretty low.
Yeah.
But I think what it comes down to is I don't think anybody's safe. I think I'd like to keep obviously some offensive pieces. That'd be nice.
Like I said, Bogarts would be at the top of my list. If you're talking about guys, I would be less inclined to get rid of.
Yeah, they were talking about him. There's some rumors about him too.
I know.
So you have to have some kind of base, and then you have guys that you're like, well, they're okay, but we can try to get them out there. They have 4 bases, I know, but I was just talking about the base of guys. They have 4 bases, really? I didn't know that. That's baseball, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what my feeling is that I'm not sure if there's much of a positive attitude. After you lose 9 or 10 or 9 in a row, it's hard to keep.
What positivity can you bring out of that? It's better than we did lose 10. I mean, how can you?
We broke it. We broke it on Ron Renick's. Wait, Ron Renick.
Ron Renick's. I feel like.
Sorry. It was playing baseball yet?
Oh, didn't know. 7th inning uptime. Yeah.
I just don't understand it sometimes. But it's one of those things where I don't. I'm going to tell you right up front. I don't think Ron Renick is a good manager. I think he's a good assistant manager. I think he's a good back of the end manager. But they're also playing like crap. So I mean, I can't.
The thing, but let me ask you: is like, I think we alluded to this before. How much of this do you? I mean, how much is you put on Renick, and how much do you put on just the fact that he has nobody? He has nobody, especially in the pitching department.
100% on the players. But I also think that you have to have a manager that manages. If you don't have a manager that manages, then you have a problem. Part of being a manager is to motivate. This guy doesn't motivate.
But you can only motivate so much, I feel like if they had, let's go in the same sort of season, 60-game season, COVID, everything, but the Red Sox have Chris Sale and Eduardo Rodriguez both healthy and in the starting pitching rotation. Like, again, just hypothetically speaking, are they in the same situation that they are right now in terms of place, record, whatever, however you want to magnify or judge it?
Do I think they're in the same place? No. Do I think they're not the greatest team in the whole world? Yes. I still absolutely believe in that. By listening to what the players are saying, by saying that what Alex Cora used to do after a tough loss is he used to go up to the players at the end of the game, go up to all the players individually, especially ones that had a hard game, and go up to them, pat them on the back and say, hey, Don't worry about it. We'll get him next time, blah, blah, blah. Ron Renicky doesn't do any of this stuff. Nothing. So my feeling is that it's not just the gameplay. It's the manager who manages the players. It's the manager who puts the players in the right mindset to be able to play. The Bruins are a perfect example.
Yeah.
They love Bruce Cassidy. You know why? Because he, number one, tells it like it is. Number two, he's close to his players. Number three, he motivates them. You have to motivate. If you don't motivate, then it's just going to be, it's going to suck. It's before you motivate before the game and you motivate after. And Ron Renicky is not doing that. I'm not saying that's the only thing. Yeah, they have to go out and hit and pitch and field and do what they need to do as part of a baseball team.
And you can still, and I feel like to your point, I agree with you. I do agree with you in the sense that even with, COVID and all the restrictions and stuff like that, you still have the ability to motivate guys. You can't necessarily use that as an excuse like, we're not allowed to have, in-person team meetings or, whatever, just, they're saying, it's so tough, because we're just not able to sort of build that connection. Well, guess what? You could find other ways to do that. You could find other ways to build that connection. Guess what? Other teams are able to build connections through, playing the same guidelines, the same things that you have to deal with. So it's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's excuses. It really is.
I agree with that. I agree with that too. But the issue I have is that you have to put them both together. You have to have a situation where you're motivating guys in the same way as much as you can do. As much as you could do. If Benintendi goes out and goes 0-4, you got to motivate him to go back out the next day and
go
just
4 for
listen.
4, yeah.
Whatever you need to do. Hey, great play in the field. Ron Renicky doesn't do any of this stuff. Zero. He doesn't do any of it. And if you're not motivating your players, that's going to be a tough locker room. When it's a tough locker room, guess what? Chicken and beer, baby. Chicken and freaking beer.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You got to motivate a little bit.
Yeah.
Terry Francona was huge on the motivation. Huge. They loved him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm not saying he has to coddle them. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying he's the manager. So he decides what he manages. I'm not saying they have to coddle him. I'm not saying they're coddled enough. They don't, believe me, they don't need to be coddled. Some of these guys are prima donnas. Most of them are not, but some of them are. So the fact is that you have to give them some encouragement. And it's tough after nine losses. I get it. But how much is – you got to balance it between what they do in the field and what they do off the field. You got to have that balancing act. And if you don't and you're not motivating your players, how are they going to be motivated to play?
Yeah.
They're not.
Sure.
They're not. They're not going to be interested in doing it at all.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, and that's something that I heard that Ron Renicky doesn't do from players. From some of the players that have talked on Twitter and stuff like that.
Like we've said, and we keep coming back to him, it's just all bad right now. It's just all bad right now. I mean, there's very, very few silver linings with this team. And, like I said, I mean, it's gotten to the point where, like I said, I hate to say it, but I've written them off. I'm not exerting.
No, I agree.
No, it's like, I'm not. I think part of the problem why, I'm not like sort of going off as I have in past episodes is I've stopped exerting all that emotional and mental energy, worrying about this team or getting frustrated with this team because I've resigned myself to the fact it's just going to be a sucky year. It's just going to be a sucky year.
What you need to do, Robbie, is call Ron Renicky and take that energy and give it to the players. That's the kind of energy you need. I don't know if they're getting that. From what I hear, they're not. So if they're not getting it, the manager's not interested. How interested are they going to be? How
I know.
motivated are they going
I
to be?
know.
How excited are they going to be? They're not.
The fans aren't really
They're
that
not.
interested.
They're not. Fans aren't interested.
I
Oh,
don't know.
like you. I was like, fans at the games? They're not fans at the game.
No,
Oh, that's what I thought. That's what I thought you meant.
the fans. No,
They're cardboard, man. That's why.
what?
No,
No. The fans watching it.
the
The fans
fans
watching
watching.
at
Yes.
home are just not interested. They've just lost. They've lost. Interest, and they've just.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them are just done with this team, like I am. Like I said,
Yeah, absolutely. But again, I totally agree with you. But I think a team that we're going in the opposite direction.
Yes, come on.
Team that we're going in the opposite direction with is the Boston Celtics.
Yes.
So let's talk about the Boston Celtics and how they are 2-0 up on the 76ers, who, by the way,
who
look like
would
the
have
Red
saw
Sox.
that coming? Who would have saw that coming at the beginning of the season, that the Celtics would be playing the Sixers in the first round, first of all, and second of all, be up 2 games and looking like they may win this series in as little as 4 or 5 games, the way things are going.
Yeah, I didn't really see it, except for the fact that I was worried about Kemba's knee, and worried about whether Tatum was going to get going a little bit. Browns are playing pretty consistent.
But everybody just talked up the Sixers so much.
How much for what? Horford got as many points as actually.
I know, but everybody thought
Fall.
the Sixers were going to be like the top 2 or 3 team in the league. Look how that turned out.
Taco Fall played better than Al Horford. Yes,
it's true. Embiid doesn't really, he really has been waning sort of towards the end of these games. I mean, he's not overpowering by any means in this series.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I just think there was a big hype. I think they're really disorganized. I think they really don't. The 76ers are very disorganized. They don't. I think they, as soon as I heard that Al Horford was going there, I was like, oh, good luck. Good luck with that. I mean, I was upset because he would, played well for us. But, I mean, the fact is that I said to myself, well, why go to a team that has, 42 centers and, and the fact is that they're just not playing well. They're just fractured. They're too fractured. They're just not playing well as a team. I don't think they've played well as a team for the last few years.
Yeah.
They do seem to get in. They squeak into the playoffs, and they're not a bad team. It's just they're just fractured. They're not together. They don't play together as a team.
Their coach might be on the way out. There's a lot of talk he may be gone after the season, especially if they end up losing the series like it looks like they're going to.
Yeah, I mean that's very possible. I haven't heard anything about that, because obviously your concentration is on Boston, but I didn't hear anything about that yet. But
I just heard it on the Twitter. The Twitter
okay.
sphere,
yeah, Twitter feed. Yeah, that makes sense. But again, the 3 guys: Kemba, Tatum, Brown. I mean,
amazing.
What can you say about that? I mean,
amazing.
What happened yesterday is what needs to happen more often. I talk about the power play for the Bruins. They have to be on. Well, the bench needs to play better on the Celtics. They played awesome yesterday, and they need to keep that going.
One name that just keeps coming up and just keeps impressing. Enes Kanter. It's sort of just come out of nowhere in this series. He's just really impressive so far. Yeah,
he really has played exceptionally well, especially against Embiid.
Yeah,
he's played well. But the bench really has to work hard, and they have to play like they played yesterday and keep them in the game. We obviously lost Gordon Hayward
Yeah.
yet again.
Yeah, he can't catch a break.
Yeah, yes, he can.
He
Did have a break. That was the problem. He can't catch a sprain either. But yeah, we don't like to coddle him either. Speaking of coddling, but yeah, I think.
I think they'll be okay without him, though. I think. I mean,
I think he's done. I don't think he's coming back because the ones who have had a grade 3.
Who knows?
Yeah, but they had 4 weeks. But they say with people they have looked up. This morning they looked up the guys who had grade 3 sprains, and they missed like 33 games.
Wow.
On average, 33 games on average.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and by the way, his his wife's having a baby too, and as soon as she has the baby, he's gone. So my feeling, and he might come back. I don't know. I just don't know how it's going to work out. But I don't. Once he's kind of out, I think he's kind of out right now. So now we have to pick it up. So who's going to pick up the slack? It's got to be Smart. Got to be Marcus Smart's got to pick up.
He was the only sort of downside, especially just yesterday. Was just especially early on that game was not shooting the ball well.
He's a very, very good defender, but what he needs to do is he really needs to start shooting the ball and shooting well. Because if he doesn't, and it's going to be a little bit tougher because he needs to pick up some of the slack.
Well, also, it does seem like he kind of settles for like outside shots. Maybe could go with attacking a little bit more. I mean, he does have the ability to attack. Create things. By attacking, at the very least getting fouled and, getting to the line. I mean, he has that capability, but sometimes I feel like he just sort of pulls up and settles for those outside shots and, just has not been necessarily going down for him so far.
Okay, so, yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree with that, and I think he needs to step it up, especially offensively, because defensively he's terrific.
Great. Oh, of course.
But he really needs to step it up offensively. Speaking of stepping it up, Jason Tatum. Listen to this stat. Ready for the stat?
Ready. I'm ready.
In the last 2 games, he has scored 65 points and had 18 rebounds. Nobody's done that in a playoff game since Larry Bird.
Wow.
Now, if that doesn't bring him to another level, to the superstar level, I don't know what does.
It's amazing. He's been amazing. There's no question. He's been so exciting to watch, and I think a lot of people knew this was coming. And now that we're seeing it, it's awesome to see. It's awesome to watch.
I just really am very excited for them. They're kind of my favorite.
Yeah.
Basketball's kind of my thing, just like the Red Sox are your thing. The Celtics are mine. But I just think if they keep playing, the bench plays well, Marcus Smart starts hitting shots. First of all, they're going to dispense of the 76ers pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know who they're going to play, but if they end up playing the Raptors, that's going to be a difficult series because the Raptors are a very, very good team.
But like with the Bruins, I think we have a chance against any one of these teams.
Yeah, I mean,
I do.
I do. I think they'd have a little bit of a difficulty with Tampa.
To least compete.
Yeah, I think they'd have a little bit of a difficulty with Tampa. But again, I think that if we do end up playing the Raptors, which I think that's where it's leading, that's where it's heading, which is possible. If we can get the bench to play like they did yesterday, and actually turn the game around, which is huge in the second quarter, and then be able to have Marcus Smart do his thing, Jason Tatum do his thing, and have the 3 guys, Kemba playing well, and Brown playing well, and Tatum playing well, I think they're going to be hard to beat.
I agree.
It's going to be hard to beat.
I agree.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But again, if all those things come together, I think they're definitely going to dispense of these guys. I'm not worried about this series right now. Al Horford's playing horribly. Embiid doesn't really know what to do. He doesn't know who to throw the ball to if he gets down low and he can't. He's guarded. just one of those things where they just again they look fractured. They look
Yeah.
like they really don't know what they're doing, and it almost looks like they gave up yesterday after a while. It does look like the 76ers gave up. Now that's a tough thing for me to think about because of the fact that if they gave up, we can get 15, 20 point lead. They're going to give up again. We're going to have an easy time and an easy series. It's just a matter of figuring out, kind of where we're going. We're not looking forward yet because we still have this series to think about. But I just see real good things happening. Yeah, I mean that's just my thoughts.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
they're playing
awesome.
well and they're like fun to watch. Just like you said
so
before,
much
they're
fun.
fun to watch.
Them and the Bruins are just so much fun to watch right now. It's fantastic.
Yep, it certainly is.
No fans at all.
No fans. Speaking about no fans, the Patriots may not have fans in September when they wanted to. So we're going to just talk about the Patriots a little bit. There was some talk, and the talk has been quelled, thankfully. The talk was QB by committee, possibly doing like a two QBs, one for when they get in the red zone, and one that. Why would Bill even do this?
Yeah,
I don't understand why this is even out there.
Yeah,
I think it's because all the QBs are getting reps right now, so they're
it's
like
early in camp. That's what. Yeah, it's sort of like
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
happens.
the way
And
they
Bill
always
quelled
do
it
it.
yesterday by saying they're going to start putting down the reps for the guys that aren't going to really play. So that's what it is. And again, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the playbook down, but you're trying to get these plays and the looks and figure out, how they're moving, and do I throw it now or do I throw it in 2 seconds, or if a guy's coming at me. I mean, these are the kinds of things that they have to work out, and that's why they're getting a lot of reps right now.
Right.
Training camp. That's what happens. So what did you think? Did you see the video of Cam dancing at
I loved it. I loved it. I mean, he looks so excited. He looks so energized. It made me energized watching it. I mean, he looks like he's having fun. He looks like he's happy to be here. He just looks like he's raring to go, and that's great to see. I had zero problem with it. I loved it. I think it made me even more excited to see what he can do for us than I already was. So I think it was great. No question at all. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, just the attitude in itself, I just thought was great. And that should tell you what kind of attitude he is coming in. And he's not just standing there and he's going, oh, God, this is boring and this is stupid. Not doing that. Not doing that. Which I happen to love. So I'm extremely excited to see what he can bring to the team. And I think he's going to be one of those guys who's going to bring a lot of attitude, which is good, and some positive attitude and some, hey, you know what? I'm still a formidable quarterback, and you're going to have to deal with me. And I'm on the Patriots now, so you know what?
He's got a lot to prove.
Tom Brady's gone, and I'm going to prove to you that, hey, I'm a good quarterback too.
Yeah.
So he does have a lot to prove. Whether he stays here or not, that's a talk for, down the road, but he's here. He's here now, and it doesn't matter.
I'm very excited
he's here
about
now.
the
It doesn't matter
for him. No question.
Exactly, and again, I know that they're they're getting players. I think they just got a couple of tight ends.
They got a running back from the Texas Lamar Miller.
Yes, he might be the odd man out though, so it's very possible that he might just because of who they have and that kind of thing. And who I hear is killing it in camp is the quarterback. What's his name? Got a funny name. Of course, I didn't write it down, but I have it in my brain. I can't get it out. Hard to get it out. Who's that? Who's the quarterback that was from that what was it? The D2 school. It wasn't like Florida State. It was some crazy Rugger, something like that.
Oh, the
Robbie.
undrafted guy.
No, yeah, I think so. He's the new cornerback.
Wait, corner or quarter?
Corner.
Oh,
I think he's a corner or a safety. I think he
then
plays both.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, he's been intercepting stuff, and he's looking really good from what I'm seeing.
Kind of stuff? What kind of stuff has he been intercepting?
Balls.
I didn't know this is something, intercepting, like,
when they throw the football, they intercept it.
Yeah, I didn't know, like, was he intercepting, like, Russian spy transmissions? I mean, I don't know.
He might be doing that too, but that's not exactly what they're doing on the football field. But you never know. You're so funny. You're so funny.
I know.
You're so funny. I'm looking him up right now. Sorry. I just
that's right.
Look him up.
A little in-show research.
Yeah.
I will say
terrible.
I will say that it sounds like, camp is going well so far. I think they're kind of, easing into it, given sort of this ramp up period that they have. I will say that I still think that this team is sort of on the I still think that they can definitely be competitive for, if not win, the AFC East, just given how the AFC East is it's always a bit of a struggle, but I think that they definitely, especially if Cam's the quarterback and if he can play his potential, I definitely could see this being maybe a 10-11 win football team, perhaps. And they best case scenario. But we'll have to sort of see. There's a long way to go. It's going to be a very intriguing year with no fans to start at home and all these different things. So just a lot to watch out for. But what was the name of the guy you?
Kyle Duggar.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Is he from Rutgers?
Nope, he's from Lenore-Ryan.
Oh, Lenore-Ryan. That's right.
He's 220. He's 6'2", 220. He's a rookie. He's actually a defensive back, technically, but they can play other things. Anyway, he's been phenomenal from what we're hearing at the training camp. So it's one of those things where it's a wait and see kind of thing, but looking forward to it, and we'll see what happens down the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, definitely. So right now we're gonna move over to not baseball, not hockey, not basketball, and not soccer. We're gonna head over to our own game. So our topic for our own game tonight is the top 5 players in your opinion. Top 5 players in Red Sox history any year. Ooh. So you could do top 5, top 6, top 10. So the top players that you would put on your team, your historic team.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whether they're alive or not. But it's one of those things where you get to pick any Red Sox player from any period and put them on your team as your team. So I'm going to start with you.
All right.
What do you think?
Ted Williams.
Okay.
David Ortiz.
Okay.
Pedro Martinez. The Rocket. Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go if I'm for right now, if I'm sort of picking 5, I may add to this, but
that's fine.
I'm gonna go with Jim Rice.
Okay.
I think that would be, again, no particular order. That would be sort of my top 5 at this point. Because I mean, especially if I'm starting a team, those are the kind of guys. Whether Williams, can hit for can hit for average. He can hit for power. The speed factor. Ortiz, Mr. Clutch. I mean, not a whole lot more needs to be said there. Clemens and Pedro, two of the dominant pitchers of their times. Then and then Jim Rice. I mean, again, just another power bat without a question. Excuse me, without a question. Just with the capability to really hit for power and hit for average as well. Again, there's a lot of names you could put out there. I mean, there's a lot of names.
Exactly.
Dwight Evans comes to mind. Fred Lynn, Manny Ramirez. Jason Varitek from sort of a leadership and catching point of view. Just to name a few. In the closer department, Keith Falk. Who am I trying? Calvin Schiraldi, Bruce Hurst. I mean, again, there's just so many. Mo Vaughn. There's just so many different ways you could go. You could go. I mean,
Exactly, and that's what putting a team together would be. Obviously, there would be a lot more players, except 5. But yeah, I mean that totally makes sense.
Yeah. So I think that my top 5 sort of goes like that, but like I said, I mean there's all those names I mentioned afterwards, plus and then some. Could just you could fill out an entire roster, no question, with some very top level talent, without a doubt.
Yep, and we have some more games coming up down the road
Of
where
course.
we're actually going to go position by position, and we're going to fill that position with your top player and see if we can put together an unbelievable team. And we're going to do that with we'll do that with some of the sports, maybe not all of them, but we could probably do that. We're not going to do them all at the same time. We're going to do them one at a time, but that's my thought.
Now, Doug, let me ask you, what would your list be, or so your answers be to this particular question?
Exactly. Some of them you've already said, but I'm going to go through my list, and I think I picked 12. So I'm going to go through my list, and I picked more than 5.
I think I rattled off like at least 9 or so.
Yeah,
there,
you did.
so.
You did. And some of them I had on my list already. So obviously Big Poppy. Ted Williams, obviously. There was a couple other guys back when that played with Ted that were good, and I just couldn't think of their names. Carl Yastrzemski.
Sure.
Captain Carl. Carl.
Fisk. Carlton Fisk. Completely forgot about him. Yeah.
Okay, he's on my list too. Jim Rice, Roger Clemens, Carlton Fisk, Pedro Martinez, Fred Lynn, Dwight Evans. Dwight Evans, by the way, being my favorite player ever. He was the first player to actually, in the field, throw the ball to home without a bounce.
Wow.
On the ground.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He was a great fielder. Unbelievable.
And it didn't matter in the field, didn't matter where he was playing. It came all the way home, and he didn't want to go home when he had the ball. Let's see. Dwight Evans, Jason Varitek, Keith Folk, that you mentioned, and Mo Vaughn were my top players. So
what about one that just popped into mind? Louis Tiant.
Yeah. Louis Tiant. 70s.
Yeah.
Definitely. I like that. I like the fact that you said Keith Folk, because he was just an incredible closer.
Especially that 04 year. I mean, just was lights out. I mean, basically, you knew the game was over when he came in to it. During that season.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was great. Well, we're gonna have more games down the road, so we're looking forward to that. So right now, Robbie, we're coming to the time where we do our final thoughts for the evening
Yeah.
for our episode number 51. So, what's your final thought? I know we touched upon it a little before we started in
Yeah.
pregame.
Yeah. My final thought is it's a little bit somber. I'm not gonna lie. There was a gentleman who was a basketball player at Holy Cross, I believe, and I forgot to look this up. I believe he also played in the NBA for the Sixers at one point. I want to say his name was Bob Bigelow. He was a local guy. Like I said, played at Holy Cross, played in the NBA, and was a big champion of youth sports in this country, and really just having fun in youth sports and not taking it too seriously, and just enjoying playing the game for fun. And I had the opportunity to meet him on several occasions. I played actually against his summer baseball teams back in my high school days, and just a really, really good guy, class act. And then a few years ago, I actually got to go hear him speak here in Wellesley at an event, and I got to catch up with him a little bit. And again, just great guy, really passionate about kids, youth sports and all that stuff. And unfortunately, he passed away suddenly the other day. It was not COVID related. It was another issue where I guess he went into the hospital and and had an issue. It has not fully come out yet, so I don't want to speculate too much. But basically, passed away suddenly at the age of 66 years old. Definitely, like I said, got to meet him a few times, got to know him, great guy, and did a lot for youth sports. And hopefully, people who knew him and who got to meet him and hear him speak and really carry on that legacy of the power of play and of youth sports and just having fun, playing youth sports and playing it the right way and coaching the right way. And he'll be missed.
Sounds
Obviously,
like a great guy.
Yeah, obviously, I know I'm sure I speak for Doug and I when I say, thoughts and prayers to his family, and
Absolutely.
rest in peace, and he will be missed. Hopefully, like I said, his legacy will continue to carry on, because it's something that being someone who umpires and coaches and teaches youth sports, I know for me it's something that's very near and dear to my heart as well. And so he'll be missed, but he left quite a legacy on this world, especially in the field of sports and youth sports in particular. So rest in peace.
I know you've heard him talk, so I know you've heard him speak. So I know that you'll bring his thoughts to the table when you are talking to kids about youth sports and about that kind of thing. That's what his legacy is going to be, is the people that he reached when he was talking to people, to kids or to people, to teachers or to coaches or to whoever. Those people will pass on his legacy to other people. So that would be huge. But yeah, absolutely, the Sports Blitz sends thoughts and prayers out to his family. Absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt. So Doug, let me now toss it back over to you here for your good catch, a little over the shoulder action there. What are your final thoughts as we sort of wrap up episode 51 here?
Okay, my final thoughts is that don't say anything, Robbie, because it's baseball related.
Okay.
My final thoughts is another announcer bites the dust.
Oh, jeez. I was wondering.
You're not supposed to say anything. I said, Robbie, don't say anything. Right. I'll let you comment after I talk about it. So I'll let you comment. So the Cincinnati Reds. Yep. Cincinnati Reds have a announcer. His name is Tom Brennan. Tom Brennan. He comes from actually his father was also an announcer, and actually his brother is too. And he had to apologize for a anti-gay slur,
Oh,
which, by the way, was a doubleheader that
oh,
was going on. And in between the doubleheaders, he didn't realize, which is a rookie mistake, a rookie radio mistake, to not know that your mic is live. I was taught by the people at Emerson College that taught radio. I was taught that when you're in front of a microphone, always think that it's live, even if it's shut off, even if the pod is down, even if the volume, I call it the volume, but it's not the volume, it's the pot that you turn down that
yeah,
nobody can hear you.
yeah.
Always think that your mic is live. So don't say anything stupid. Don't say anything racial. Don't say anything that may cause you or anybody else injury if a mic is present and a mic is around. And that is an absolute, not just a rookie mistake, but just a really stupid mistake from a guy who's been around for a long time. But the thoughts are, if you listen to it, it's not even off the cuff. He said, "Oh, that's not me." But it's interesting because he felt comfortable about saying it, even if the mic wasn't live. He felt comfortable about
Yeah,
saying it to a
yeah,
producer.
yeah,
So as far as I'm concerned, it's crap what he's talking
yeah,
about. He apologized as the game was going on. The second game was going on. So as he was in his middle of his apology, he was like, "Oh, and then Gutierrez just hits that really loud, hits that really far. Could be, oh, yeah, it's a home run. Okay, but I am really sorry about what I said. But I mean, it's just like I couldn't. When I heard it this morning, I couldn't believe.
I texted it to you.
Yes, you
Yeah,
did.
last night I
You did.
texted you
You
the
did.
tweet.
You did. You did. And I just couldn't believe it. Because I heard about. Obviously, they talked about it all day today on sports radio. So I was just like, kidding me. I mean, this is not just a rookie mistake. This is like, always think, if you're next to a microphone, always think that your mic is live. Always. That's the first lesson.
We'll
Mic
do it live.
live. Mic live. Always. So you got to be careful. Not just be careful what you say. It's just so stupid. So from what I heard, I think he does games for Fox football, I guess.
NFL, yeah. So that's another sort of.
They've already canceled him out. I believe they fired him out.
Okay. And the
Uh,
Reds,
and the
I hadn't
Reds,
heard of the Reds or the station that they let him.
the Reds have well, what they did was they put the other guy. They put
Yeah, they basically took him out like in the middle of the
middle of the game.
right after it happened. Yeah.
The middle of the game, they put, and they were joking today about it. Of course, they were joking because you put the guy who's got a terrible voice and
He was suspended.
Okay, I'll continue the game now. Okay, so it's a hit upside
He was
on the
suspended.
wall
He was suspended
by the
by
Reds.
the team Wednesday. I'm trying to see.
Yeah, there's an official statement here that I'm trying to look at here. Cincinnati Reds organization is devastated by the horrific homophobic remark made this evening by broadcaster Tom Brenneman.
Brenneman, yes.
It's not as easy as I say. He was pulled off the air, like immediately, and pulled off the air, and effective immediately was suspended from doing Reds broadcasts. We'll be addressing our broadcasting team in the coming days. In no way does this incident represent our players, coaches, organization, or our fans. We share our sincerest apologies to the LGBTQ plus community in Cincinnati, Kansas City, and all across this country and beyond. Reds embrace a zero-tolerance policy for bias or discrimination of any kind, and we are truly sorry to anyone who has been offended. Yeah. He bit the big one.
Oh yeah.
To say it lightly. And believe me, that was lightly. But you just got to be, you can't, used to be able to say lots of stuff a long time ago. You just can't say it now.
No, not at all. Not in this day and age.
Not this day and age. You just got to be really careful about what you say.
Absolutely. And listen, and I sort of come at this from a, even as a volunteer broadcaster, from a broadcaster's, sports broadcaster's point of view, you definitely have to be very careful as to what you say. I mean, you just there are certain lines you just never cross, and that's one of them. And it was a dumb thing, and I agree with you in the sense that I don't believe that that's not who he is, because he said it so sort of not nonchalantly, but he said so like just like that's just the way he talks in normal conversation. Almost sounded like it just kind of came out so naturally. It seemed like it just seems like he and it's kind of interesting how he described himself as a man of faith. And it's interesting because I mean there are the part of the reason, the funny thing is him saying that made me believe his sincerity and his other comments and that apology less, because of the issues that there are, not, again, I don't want to group an entire religion in here, but between some sects of the Catholic Church and, homosexuality. There is definitely, there are definitely people that have troubles, or sort of anti-views on that. And so, like I said, I just found it very interesting that he brought this sort of man of faith comment into it, because, like I said, I hate to say it, but it kind of made me believe him less. So
if he was a man of faith, he wouldn't have said it.
That's true too. That's a good point too. There's just a lot.
That's why I don't believe it. That's why I don't believe it.
There's just a lot that I just doubt about the sincerity of it. I mean, it seemed like he got caught, and he kind of needed to do sort of that, he got
caught, and he needed to do a mea culpa. Is what he needed to do. Yeah. He needed to go back to it, and he needed to reverse himself, and he couldn't do it because he knows it was on the air. You can't do that. And it's not just a rookie mistake, Robbie. This is just not right. Yeah. It's just plain not right, not correct, and it's probably not going to be working.
No, probably not going to be working again, at least for the very, very, very time being.
Yeah. So another broadcaster, unfortunately, bites the dust. It's horrible, but another broadcaster bites the dust. But so we are done with episode number 51.
We didn't make any comments that we have to apologize for.
We didn't.
Good. That's
we
good.
didn't. And Robbie actually kept his cool. You're not going to believe it when you see the episode. He actually kept his cool during that segment of.
I think you ranted this episode more than I did.
I did.
About certain things.
Yes, I did. So just remember to help Robbie get over the Red Sox. 1-800-SOX-SUCK. That's always a good thing. Do it right away if you can. If you're listening and you were under a rock, have a good week under your rock and in your cave or whatever. And we are done. In the future episodes, we have some great